Thank you everyone for joining. Um, we really appreciate the joining. We really appreciate you coming on live. Please, I would like to take some kind of how will I say it now? Some kind of roll call. If you can hear me clearly, please let me know. Firstly, if you can hear me, if I'm audible enough, let me know. Let me know if I'm audible enough. If you can hear my audio, if you can see me, this is my true face, my real face. If you can see me, let me know. Let us know that it is actually clear, it is audible, it is, you understand, you are viewing my screen, you can see my screen, you can see my presentation slides. We have less than, oh yes, we can see, and it's audible. Thank you very much. Okay, please let us know where you are chatting us, or where definitely you are joining us from, and let us know your name. You understand, like I, for instance, I'm Aziz from Ontario, Canada. So let us know where you are actually reaching us from. I'm Aziz from Ontario, Canada. For those of you who know me already, for those who receive our emails, um, here I am, basically. So let's actually get started quickly because we have very few time to actually, you understand, be with us today. Okay, Onyekonsola Balogun from Nigeria, thank you very much for actually reaching out to us. So the reason why we are here to actually educate ourselves on how to move to Canada as a high skilled or even a low skilled professional with low CRS scores. And today I'm going to be presenting you with, as I said, my name is Aziz Olayiwaju Shoderu from, um, what they call it now, from Ontario, Canada. So today I want to actually talk about who this presentation is for. That's the very first thing we want to talk about. Who exactly are we trying to communicate with? We are trying to communicate with you if you are a current international student in Canada, in the UK, in the US, or any other country struggling to actually become a permanent resident of Canada. Okay, thank you. Aderemi said, this is Ade B. Aishat from Nigeria. Thank you for joining. And also, we are also kind of communicating with you if you are a temporary foreign worker who is currently working with a Canadian or American company under the closed work permit and can't actually become a permanent resident easily. Now, if you are a visitor as well or a tourist who with 6 months duration and it is already fast approaching and you want to become a permanent resident of Canada, we're also talking to you. Or you have been rejected or refused a visa before, denied entry into Canada, or even been banned in recent years or past times in Canada, UK, US, or Australia. If you are a tech professional, thank you, Hime, for reaching out from Nigeria. This is also for you, a digital nomad, a manager, director, supervisor, business owner, self-employed, who is an English or even a French speaker. If you don't have your IELTS, or if you have your CLP, your TCF, your TF Canada, or not even having any travel history at all, you are also going to be actually very, very needed in this conversation. If you're an American, a Caribbean, an Asian, an American, an Australian, if you're a doctor, a teacher, a lawyer, a tradesperson, a carpenter, a stylist, a barber, any one of you, you are actually invited into this conversation. But before I actually talk further, thank you, Oladimiji, for reaching us from Nigeria. You're presently in Canada on a visit. Good. This is for someone like you as well. Now, firstly, I want to talk about my case study. One of our case studies, Dr. Lawal. Dr. Lawal was one of a lecturer. He was a lecturer at Kwara State University, and he actually came even with his BSc. He reached out to us. He said he has done his BSc, his MSc, and now even have a PhD, but he didn't know how to go about the PR process. So it doesn't matter if you have many degrees. If you don't know how to go about it, you need the right, you understand, PR step formula, and that is exactly what we were able to show him. And because of that, he was able to actually run on his provincial nominee program, which actually let him finally get selected through a province and going with his wife and 2 kids. So if you are an educated person like him, or you are not even educated, like many people would reach out to us that they just have a YX certificate, this is also for you. And I want to talk about the agenda, the overview of what we're going to be discussing today. Firstly, I've talked about my introduction. 2, we'll talk about the webinar purpose and the PR reasons. Why do you even need the PR in the first place? Factors affecting your CRS scores. We even explain what the CRS score is, how to calculate your CRS score, challenges with low CRS score, recent trends in the CRS cutoff scores, strategies to improve CRS scores, case studies and success stories, just like the one I just showed you. Common law partnership unions, we'll talk about that. Provincial nominee programs, express entry system and processes. We'll also talk about application timelines. We'll talk about estimates. We'll talk about additional resources you may also need to actually use to come to Canada. We'll talk about the additional resources, the offer and the bonuses, the main disclaimers with frequently asked questions, and we'll talk about the next steps and the follow-ups you need to do in order to get started with your PR process. Now, what's the webinar process or purpose? Firstly, our goal in this webinar is firstly to empower you as high skilled or even low skilled professionals facing challenges with low CRS scores in their pursuit of moving to Canada. Two, we would also acknowledge the common concerns and misconceptions about the immigration process and highlight the issues and how you can even solve them. Lastly, we'll talk about the how to prove. I will provide you with an overview of key areas that serious immigrants can actually focus on to relocate easily to Canada as a permanent resident. But before I talk more, I would like to answer the question: why are we even bothered about express entry? Why are we bothered about PMPs? Why are we bothered about permanent residence visa? Why? It is because it gives you the ability to live and work anywhere in Canada. So for many people that I would always like to ask me that, okay, please, I want to come to Canada, I want to come to work. You are shortlisting yourself because all these things are already embedded in the permanent residence program. If you become a permanent resident, you'll be able to live and work anywhere with any employer, with 2, 3, 4 employers at the same time. You would also be able to access free universal healthcare for yourself, for your family, for your children, for your kids, for your wife. You'll be able to access social services, get life advantages from the government. And there are many of them, like unemployment benefits, maternity leave and sick leave, unemployment, disability benefits, family allowances, pension and old age survivor benefits. You would also have access to family sponsorship. In other words, you can reunite with your Canadian family members easily, or even bring other family members with you. You would also have you would have expense paid education for your children, and many a times it's not even only for children, because you have free primary, secondary, and if you know how to go about it, you can also get tertiary education freely without paying a dime because of your permanent residence visa. You would also get protected rights, right for mobility, for you to move anywhere, go anywhere around Canada, equality for you to be seen as someone that is equal to a Canadian, a duality of languages for your life and properties. Here we speak English and French, but you can be able to use any other languages you want whatsoever, and even transit to Canadian citizenship. You understand? So you can actually, with your permanent residence, after 3 years, you can have access to the Canadian passport, and that would allow you to actually visit 188 visa countries currently. So, firstly, I would like to also tell you who am I. I'm Aziz Olashode. I have assisted more than 350 students and immigrants to relocate, to learn language, to prepare for IELTS, TEF Canada, TCF Canada examinations, and to also do everything that they are doing. Like for international students who are currently studying in Canada or elsewhere, we also assist them as well. So, first-time traveler abroad. Actually, I was a first-time traveler. I have not traveled to any European or American country before I came to Canada. So, I was a successful Canadian PR immigrant at the first attempt. I also was a French language teacher in Nigeria. I was a web developer for past companies that I've worked for. I am currently a common law partner by relationship, and I actually bolded this because this is very, very important. Now, I was a data scientist by current profession because now I'm studying in the UK as a data scientist. I'm a travel educator. I educate people in Canada about how to work on their immigration. And I'm also a business owner in Ontario because I'm registered by the Ontario Business Registry to actually work in Canada as a self-employed. So that is why you should perhaps listen to me, because I've actually gone through the process. I know how it is, and I can actually be of assistance to you. Now, what's even the story about CRS scores? CRS is known as the Comprehensive Ranking System, and it is a key component of the Canadian Express Entry System, which is the primary immigration pathway for economic immigrants. Now, note, it is the primary, but it is not the only. Do you understand? It is just the primary. The PMPs are other routes, and we'll still see other routes as we go through this process, how you can actually use to immigrate permanently to Canada. Now, CRS is a point-based system. It ranks candidates in the express entry, you understand, and it is ranking based on various factors. The factors are 5 in number, and I'm going to actually talk to you about them now. But candidates receive invitations based on this CRS scores on a regular basis. Sometimes it can be 2 weeks. Sometimes you have seen it can be 1 week interval. It can even have a stretch of maybe like a month period. So it depends on that particular period that you're actually waiting to get your CRS points. Now, your invitation. Now, the key CRS components is number one, the core human capital factors, the age, the level of education, the language proficiency in English or French, and the work experience. Secondly, it is also the skills transferability factors, the education, language proficiency, Canadian work experience, certificate of qualification in a trade, and even additional points. The third factor, the valid job offer in Canada, obtaining a provincial nomination through PMP, having a sibling in Canada, or possessing strong French language skills. Four, it is the Canadian education or work experience program of a study in Canada and your Canadian work experience. Five, it is the spouse or common law partnership factors, language proficiency, education, and Canadian work experience. Some of these factors, I don't even want you to focus on it. I don't want you to even disturb yourself on it. And I'll give you my reasons in the subsequent slides. Now, the factors affecting your CRS scores. Firstly, the education is a critical factor, a crucial one that actually contributes to the Canadian candidate overall score. Why? Because it looks at your academic qualifications and how you are going to be a contributor to the economic factor. And firstly, it will grant you, or it will award you points based on the highest level of education completed by the candidate. Two, the highest points are typically awarded for a completed Canadian post-secondary degree. And that is why many people will go through study permits, go and waste a lot of money to get their bachelor's, their master's, their doctorate, their postgraduate certificate, but many a times it's not even necessary. Now, additional points may also be awarded if a candidate has completed a recognized program. Yes, definitely. In some cases, additional points may be awarded if you completed in a certain field, that is in demand in Canada, and this is priceless. Many people, even in Canada, if you have a priceless in demand, you understand, program from Nigeria, you don't need to waste so much money, millions of naira, to actually study that same program in Canada. Now, educational credentials are needed to be obtained outside Canada for programs that you studied outside Canada, the educational credential assessment, in order to see the equivalence in the Canadian level. And the sixth thing is the skills transferable factors. They need to know that, okay, if you have this particular, maybe OND and HND, then you can actually combine those, you understand, certificates, and get an higher CRS score based on that education and your language proficiency. Now, the next thing is the language proficiency. Just like we talked about the education, the language proficiency is another important factor, either be the English or French, or even English and French. That means you can either take any of the four exams, either the IELTS, the CELPIP, the TEF Canada, or the TCF Canada, the test d'évaluation de français or test de connaissance de français for French. And you need the four skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Some people said that, okay, they were asking me one time that, can we use the one that they said that you can just use one test, you can just take one test, we do one test, like one skill test. You can't use that for immigration. That is not allowed. So either way, the speaking, listening, reading, and writing is needed for all the immigration pathways. Now, before I talk more about what other factors we have, I want to talk about another case study. Rashida Yusuf, you may be asking me that, okay, you have said the highest qualification, the highest education, okay, people that have, just like the instance of Dr. Lawal that had PhD, but me, I don't have PhD, I don't have BSc, I don't have PBGD, I don't have PhD, MSc, I don't have NDD, HND, NCD, all those DDD, you don't shall have it. Basically, this is someone that didn't have it. She was my common law partner, and currently she's in Canada. Do you understand why? Because she followed through a particular process, a process that doesn't really need you to have your NCA, your ND, your HN, all those, goddamn it. Because during our own time, she wasn't even able to create an express entry profile because her CRS score was below 300. You understand? But she followed a process, a framework. She took advantage of our coaching and our visa leverage that would also be showing you today. And within a few weeks, she prepared and got her IELTS test, even though, again, it was not really necessary for her to take the IELTS. She was able to save herself from writing another JAM, doing another IJMB or DREPED without any sure admission in Nigeria, because she waited to actually get admission but wasn't able to get, and she didn't even have funds to go abroad, to come to Canada to study through the international student route. In other words, she became the first person in her family to actually migrate to Canada, you understand, without knowing anyone in Canada, without studying in Canada, and now she's even studying in Ontario, tuition free, getting grants from the government to easily study. So if you want to be someone like that, can I just even see you on the comment section? Say that, like, yes, you really want it. You really want it. Now, moving on. Work experience is another factor in the CRS. Do you understand? It aims to attract candidates with a certain number of skills and certain number of experiences to contribute to the Canadian labor market. Now, note this, certain, this is not for everybody. Even if you can be a PhD holder and you can maybe study psychology or study one useless course, even though psychology is not useless, but you may study some other courses from your home country. If it is not in demand, you may just as well be wasting your time in trying to come to Canada. And you can actually be in any of these NOC codes, which they call the tier system now, either the 0, A or B. That is the tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3. And you can get more points for 3+ years and above. Do you understand? Like maximum points if you have 3+ years of experience, you understand, and above. And the point system are awarded based on the work experience, either be it continuous or non-continuous, even though we advise people to have continuous experience. And definitely, if you have a Canadian work experience, it can boost your points, but most times it is not even necessary. Now, the age is another factor. The lesser your age, the better your factor. But again, there's always a misconception here. The fact that you are 47 and more does not mean that you cannot actually migrate. Yes, you can have to, your CRS can get decreased based on just the age factor, but you can also increase your CRS factor or your CRS points on other factors. People from 18 and 35 always have maximum points of age. If you are 20 to 29, even better. If you are 18 to 44, that is the range that is favorable for economic immigration. But that does not mean, again, that if you are 40 plus, you are 50 plus, you are even 60 plus, it doesn't mean you cannot relocate. Just know how to go about it is the major thing. Now, arrange employment. I won't talk so much on this because I always tell people, many a times you cannot arrange employment from your own country. Let's just be frank, because even people in Canada are still struggling to get jobs. So if you are waiting on to get a job from your home country, you may be waiting for life. Do you understand? Because the LMI here, the way it is structured to favor the Canadians and people that already have work permits, either by the virtue of their spouse that came for study, you understand, and got the open work permit. So it doesn't really favor you. So, but it will give you at that point if you have it. But if you are not willing to spend time, maybe 3 to 6 months to get the job, or even sometimes years to get the job after searching for it, or you are not willing to pay some scrupulous agent that would, you understand, claim that they have a kind of work permit for you, and you understand, cut away with your millions of naira, I will not really tell you to focus much on the arranged employment. Now, adaptability, this is where it actually becomes interesting, because for all of our clients, we don't focus on all the factors for them. We don't focus on everything that the CRS has to offer. We just focus on some selected few. And the selected few that I've actually marked out are just 5 in number. Any other thing, you are wasting your time. It's just the truth. I'm being frank with you, and I don't want to waste your time. The Canadian factors, you may not necessarily have it, because I didn't have it myself. I didn't have a Canadian work experience. I didn't have relatives in Canada that can give me points. I didn't have arranged employment. I didn't have past study in Canada. I didn't have Canadian education. But what I had was foreign work experience, which I used. Education from Nigeria, which I used. Language proficiency, which I used. Proof of funds, which I used. And there are ways to go about it. Now, spouse or common law partner points, which I use. So those are the major things I'll focus on this webinar. Now, moving on, I want to talk about the case study of Mr. Diko. This was a very wise immigrant, even though he had less amount of points. Okay, Yunus, thank you. You said, yes, I want. That's good. Just focus on this webinar. Now, even though he had less amount of points in the IELTS, because people feel that you need to have like a lot of points, you need to have 8.0, because yes, we do talk about it, so that there's a formula which we'll still talk about for your IELTS. But this guy didn't have the IELTS 8.0 points. He was working with the PhD in Nigeria. He studied in Kwara State, and then Kwara State University. He also did his IELTS twice. You understand? He had a low CRS score before he found out about some other ways, easy ways to actually get his immigration. And after that, within the right time, he was able to be in the 430, you understand, CRS points. He got selected through the Manitoba PMP, because definitely he had someone that could actually run it for him. And he was able to quickly actually come here with that, you understand, with that Manitoba PMP, you understand, nomination, without getting a job in Canada. But now he's now in Canada with his wife and his child, and he's comfortable after he landed. And when he told us, we were so happy that with our consultations, our IELTS prep and everything, he was able to come to Canada. So if you want to be like him, listen up. Now, how do you calculate your CRS score? There's always a website that people always go, and I've actually clicked it on it here. If you even write it on the website, on what they call it, on Google, just write it, CRS tool, it will bring out this particular thing, and you'll be able to see how to actually, you understand, evaluate or access your Canadian CRS points. And many people, the problem that they actually face is that you just go directly to this tool, you understand, without having a lot of qualifications, without having a lot of, you understand, a lot of factors that would benefit you. So many a times when people check it, they see that they are not even qualified and they become, you understand, they become discouraged. But I always tell people there's a pre-evaluation process which we'll talk about that will take you through how to go about this with the CRS tool and with all other tools to check if you are eligible for either the express entry, the PMP, or even the Quebec skilled worker program. So this tool would help you check based on, you understand, your factors, the express entry programs you are qualified for, whether be it if you are in Canada or outside Canada, and how you can actually boost your CRS scores. Now, challenges with low CRS scores that I've actually seen over the years when it comes to this, and which me too I also struggled with, is number one, low or no IELTS and TEF Canada scores, which is a major issue. A major issue. People always think, yes, if you have a low CRS, you cannot come to Canada. If you have a low IELTS, you can't come to Canada. Low TEF Canada, you can't come to Canada. Misconceptions. Very major misconceptions. Lack of higher educational credentials, that okay, I just have my WAEC and they say I cannot come to Canada, so that I want to go for study. If you have the money for study, no problem. If you have the time to wait for work permit, no problem. If you want to come to Canada and visit, just stop and waste away your money, no problem. But if you want to stay here permanently, limited chances of invitation is another issue. Competitive nature of draws, express entry profile expiry, changing eligibility criteria, limited options for provincial nominee nominations, difficulty in obtaining a job offer, impact on settlement funds, and other visa options like study or visit. So let's move on. The recent trends that we have seen in the CRS cutoff scores doesn't really require you to have the highest CRS score ever. It doesn't really require you. And many people that follow the trend, you know that there are some categories that they have been focusing on: the French language proficiency, healthcare occupations, science, technology, engineering and mathematics occupation, trade occupations. They just even did one transport occupation where they selected some people, and agriculture and agri-food occupations. Now, note all these occupations. Some of them are general, some of them are provincial based, and some of them are category based. Now, moving on, we also have the what they call it now. We also have the strategies you can use to overcome the low CRS scores. What are the strategies basically that you need to know? Firstly, you need to improve your language proficiency, either be it English or French. If you don't want to increase, you need to enhance your educational credentials to actually improve it, whether getting a certificate, a degree or diploma and stuff. Additional work experience, you need to add it up, and it doesn't really necessarily need you to wait years before you get many of these things. There are ways you go about it, which we'll talk about. Now, explore the PMP route, which a lot of people don't even know about. Some that even know about it, they don't know how to actually position themselves to get the nominations. Seek a job offer, which is daunting for many people, or consult with a professional, someone that knows what he's doing and can actually guide you and guide you through the process. Now, there's something we call the 7877 formula. That means in listening, you have to have 8.0 for IELTS, in reading, writing, and speaking, 7.0. But there are ways to go about it, even without this point system, that would actually still make you come to Canada without even having the perfect 8.0. But I want to talk about Mr. Patrick. This is someone that actually started with us. He started learning the TEF Canada, the French and stuff. But he was frustrated. His wife was frustrated. They quarreled a lot because of their immigration. They had issues. Thank God they are still together. But after some time, they got to know how to go about it without necessarily wasting so much of time or so much of money. And with that, they were able to get invited by 2 provinces, Manitoba and Saskatchewan. And as they say, the rest is history. They were able to do it with 450 CRS points. I've told you people that actually came to Canada without CRS, without even being able to create a profile. Some created a profile, but they didn't have 500 points, you understand, or more. And some actually did it the wise way, and would actually show you how you too can actually do that. Yes, you can invite someone to join this webinar. Just give them the link and they will join. Now, further education and certification, recognize credentials that you can use to actually boost your points. If you are an ND holder, you are a hot cake. If you are an NC holder, another hot cake. HND holder, another hot cake. Depending on the school you study and the program you studied, most times NCE are qualified as a bachelor's or a 3-year program. Depending on what you studied, ND and HND is even more than BSc. Do you understand? Masters definitely is more than BSc. Doctorate is even better. But if you don't have any of these, there are some professional qualifications you can get. Yes, how can I invite someone? Give that person this link that is on the, you understand, screen, and the person can actually join. Oh, okay. I was talking about the professional licenses you can have. If you have agriculture based fields, if for instance it's even, you understand, the so-called ishel word that they always talk about, even though you cannot access it through O.S, there are still ways you can use those ishel, which we'll still talk about. But agriculture based fields, you can use their credentials. Architecture, CIMA, if you are maybe for instance in accounting or in anything, you can use the CIMA. Computer science or technology related field, I used some of this to actually get selected for immigration, and you too can actually use it. CPA, dentistry, education related fields, engineering, finance, law, medical, medicine, nursing, social work, veterinary medicine. These are some of the fields you can actually use to actually get a upper hand than someone that doesn't have these qualifications. And if you are in any of these skills, if you have gathered, some people always ask me, I want to come to Canada and I want to make sure I get a job within some few certain time I come to Canada. How can I improve my, you understand, eligibility for jobs? If you want to improve eligibility, start getting some of these skills. Plumbing, tailoring, barbing. In fact, many people we kind of apply to series of PMP programs. We apply for someone in tailoring in one particular program, Saskatchewan province. Another one we use is tech skill to apply for another province, Ontario. Another one we use, you understand, it's trade skills, it's transport occupation skills to apply for another. If you don't have some of these skills, you may not be able to apply. So plumbing, tailoring, there are 30 different skills here, which I will not majorly have time to go through, but you can actually gather some skills. Okay, someone said, you said earlier before time. Thought, okay, you started earlier before time. Thought you said 5:30. Well, there was a miscommunication in the you understand, messages we sent out, but it was 5. If you checked the website, you understand, the Eventbrite, it showed 5 o'clock, not 5:30. Sorry for that. Now, barbing, millwright, cooks, chefs, hairstylists, carpentry, electricians, spa services, mechanics, glaciers, welders, cleaners, painters, decorators, truck drivers. In fact, there are some people that are in Canada currently as a visitor and they're already learning trucks. And with that, they will use it to get their permanent residence or their work permits, depending on the one they choose. You can also have some of these skills and leverage them. Even though you're a doctor, you can try drive truck and even get paid more. You understand? Now, home support workers, home childcare providers, food, beverage servers, all these skills you can actually use them. Now, exploring the provincial nominee program route, many people don't know that different provinces have different programs that you can actually apply to get selected, and I would actually go through some of them now. Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Northwest Territories, there are more than this. We have over 80 different PMP programs, but I focus on the ones that we, for instance, we actually focus on the one that is either based on express entry, entrepreneur based, or business based, or human capital priorities based, Quebec skilled worker program based, you understand, or international skilled worker occupations in demand. Now, these are some of the jobs that are either aligned with express entry, that doesn't require you to get a job in Canada, that doesn't require you to have Canadian work experience, that doesn't require you to even study in Canada, but you can actually have, you understand, recognized qualifications from back home that you could use, or recognized businesses from back home that you could use. So just go through them. This is a recorded webinar, so you can always go through some of this at a later time. Now, the immigration process, I want to talk about it because many people always ask me, what is even the process? There are 15 different stages of the express entry and PMP. I won't really have time to go through them, but the major thing I want to tell you are just two. Well, just three. One, we have the general express entry stream, the one that many people always focus on, which is really going to stress you out because you cannot, especially if you're not in Canada or you are not a genius, you may not be able to qualify for it. But the PMP programs are something you can qualify for, and the category-based round draws are things you can qualify for. And if you are selective, Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, British Columbia are very good provinces that you can actually easily get selected, which will go through. So these 15 steps, you would go through them for anybody that wants to go through them at a later time. Now, the key documents. People will ask, what are the key documents and requirements? International passport first. If you don't have international passport, we can't even take you serious that you want to travel because that shows that you're not serious. Passport photographs, you need it. Proof of funds, language test scores. Proof of funds are based on your family structure. So just click on it, Canada proof of funds, put it on Google, and you'll be able to see the proof of funds based on your kind of family structure. The educational credential assessment is here that I talked about. Provincial nominee program, optional if you have, best. Marriage certificates, child custody letters, divorce letters if you have, offer letter from a Canadian employer, optional. For people that are not in Canada, it may be difficult for you to get that. Your personal reference code, which you get after you apply for express entry profile. Express entry or skilled worker profile number, the job seeker validation code, the medical report, birth certificate, police certificate, criminal report, and letter of references. There are still more documents, but these are the major ones that we'll talk about. Now, another case study for Mrs. Abiyewa. This is someone that she followed us for 2 years before she thought that, okay, these people are not scam. Let me try these people. After our friend that actually worked with us even got selected by our better. And at the end of the day, because of our lack of belief, she actually had to pay double for our French program, which later got her own Manitoba immigration, you understand, nomination. So some people always ask me the PMP pathways. What are even the PMP pathways apart from express entry? One, we have the Atlantic immigration. This is not even a pilot program anymore. It's already a full program on its own, and you can actually benefit from it. And here I also told you the average of months you can use to process them and the average cost based on the Naira and the USD. You understand? So you can go through them at your leisure time. Canadian Express cards and Canada caregivers, for people that are caregivers right now, you know that January 1st, there's going to be a selection of caregivers, and you can actually get selected as a caregiver if you want to waste your time to actually wait 22 to 36 months for that. But if you don't want to waste your time, there are other skilled worker category-based jobs you can use. Provincial nominee program, self-employed persons, Quebec's business class, skilled workers federal, skilled trades federal, skilled workers Quebec, startup visas, family sponsorship, and refugee or humanitarian. Now, additional resources you can actually also have access to at any time. You understand? It's go through the cicnews.com, cic.gc.ca, canada.ca. If you want to go through the provincial nominee programs, you can go through alberta.ca, welcomebc.ca, immigratemanitoba.com, welcome mb.ca, gov.nl.ca, quebec.ca, immigratenwt.ca, novascotiaimmigration.com, ontario.ca, prince edward island.ca, saskatchewan.ca, yukon.ca. I think we'll send this to the comment section so that you can have access to them. Now, that brings me to the last thing. Many of you may actually work on it yourself. You can do it through the DIY process, which is very good. But when I was actually creating this presentation, I wanted to actually be involved. You understand? So I took the last option that, okay, let me have to help those who want to actually seek help, those who really want that extra effort, that extra guidance from us. And as a result of that, we created the Canada PR system, which is not for everybody. If you're not someone that wants to pay someone to actually get this done for you, no problem. There is no fight. You understand? You can do it yourself with all the information I actually shared now. But if you want to get access to many of the things that we are going to provide you with a Canadian PR system, then actually listen up to this. Now, this is a step-by-step package for migrating to Canada permanently at once without wasting time, easily, without wasting money on school, millions, tens of millions of naira, without wasting time on work, on visit, without wasting time trying to gather travel experience from other places, without, even if you have had past rejections, if without even wasting time for refugee or asylum seeking. And I want to tell you people now, this is not a study permit route. This is not a work permit package. This is not a visitor visa package. It is not a refugee or asylum package. It is what? For permanent residents, for someone that wants to come here with or without his family and stay here permanently. And the charge of that for the Canadian PR system is 6,999 USD, 7 million. Now I know many people will shout, yeah, no problem. See, there's no fight in this thing. If you cannot, again, pay someone to get this done for you. There's no, see, with the level of common business and with things like this, sometimes it pays for people to do it themselves. I did it myself. I didn't pay anybody. So you too, you can do it yourself. Do you understand? If it works for you, no problem. But for people that want to actually use the leverage of what we do and what our immigration partners do, then you can sign up for this. Now, major disclaimers, because again, I always like to talk about this. Is this a book or a course? It is more than that. It is not a book. We are partnered, as I said, with some third parties so that we can handle all your language learning, your test preparation, your career development, your business mentorship, and immigration processes for you from start to finish. We have our immigration lawyer working with us, our licensed representative. Me, I'm not licensed. I do tell people I'm not an immigration lawyer. I'm not a business developer. But we have partnered with people, even up to realtors. Oh, we didn't mention that here. We have partnered with even realtors that can easily help you get accommodations, even though that's another charge on its own. But we have people that can actually assist you with that. Now, people always ask me, Do you have any office in Nigeria or even in Pakistan? I think some people always ask in Pakistan. We are fully based in Canada. We have no offices anywhere else. So if you are not trusting us on that, so no problem. Ayole, you understand? Don't worry. Don't even stress and say, okay, that kind of thing. I cannot work with you because you are not in Nigeria. No problem. Life is not hard. You understand? You can do the DIY process if it works for you, no problem. What is A.O.S abroad? A.O.S, we are not consultants, we are not lawyers, we don't even consider ourselves as travel agents, but we self-identify as a language school. And as a language school, according to Canada, we can actually, you understand, provide courses, even though this is more than a course in language instructions. And we have courses for IELTS, for TEF Canada, and the rest of them. You understand? We can also help you to actually work on your training courses for career and educational opportunities. But we go beyond that with the what partnerships we have with our immigration partners. Where are we settled, or what is our website? Our website is awesabroad.com, and we are currently in 76 Vesna Crescent, Brampton, Ontario, Canada. If you want to also come visit us, no problem. Book an appointment and you can actually come to see us. Now, the bonuses for many people that want to go through this what they call the Canada PR process, we said we have the common law union partnership advantage. If you are that kind of person that wants help with the entire immigration process, with even the eligibility requirements to talk about, like IELTS, like TEF Canada, and the travel documentations, this is golden. This is very much golden. You can actually get assisted with it, whereby you will just provide the cash, and there are some common law partners that would, you understand, partner with you and get all the credentials on your behalf. You understand, and you just align with them and they get you the visa without any issues. Now, if you want immigration application packages, like we have mentioned here, there are some of our premium packages that are even more than it. But if you sign up with this Canada PR package, even though this is more than it, you will just pay that 7 USD and you will have the entire travel package that would actually benefit you, yourself, and your families. Now, you would also have access to not only us, but our consultants, our immigration lawyer that will talk to you one-on-one. Normally, these people, if you even want to talk to them, normally you book a consultation, you pay them, you understand, on a minute basis. But because you work with us, you will be able to talk with them, you will be able to have access with them freely. For those who actually pay for this package within the next 3 days, we will have these extra bonuses. Now, I want to actually talk about this case study of Mr. Yemi, a very wise man. This is someone that he wanted to come to Canada. We started working on, in fact, work permit for him, but we weren't able to get a job because, yes, he was not in Canada. And we actually told him, why don't you go through the visitor visa? You understand? And come in as a tourist. And after you land in as a tourist, we will now actually get you the PR process. For many people that are in that kind of scenario now, within the visitor visa timeline, the 6 months, you can actually get your PR process done if you have actually started, you understand, to work on it quickly. Or you can even get your visa extended through the visitor record and actually stay back and get your PR process. If you are a visitor and you want that kind of thing, reach out to us. This is someone that has been rejected in the US. His B1 visa was rejected, B2 visa was rejected twice before he actually got his Canadian visitor visa within just a month. And now he's going to be actually coming to Canada with his family, you understand, through that. Now, if you want to actually get our travel package, if you want to work with us, get our travel package now. We have the benefit of installment payments. And you can actually save 80% off of this, you understand, if you actually start up now. For people that actually start up, you can pay 2.35 M twice in a 3-month period, 3.5 twice in a 2-month period, you understand. And if you want to pay, you can actually send your payment screenshot to our official email, admin@aosacademy.com, or even click on this link, aos.name.ng/5 minutes, you understand. To book a clarity call within 5 minutes, we'll talk about it's free, you don't pay for it, about what you want and your next action, or call or text us on a Canadian number to get your Canadian PR package contract and form after you actually pay. Or you can even pay into our Nigerian account, the GTB Bank, 0561848883. And that takes us out to our frequently asked questions. So people will ask us, is this a sponsorship visa? No, we don't do job sponsorship. We don't give loans. We don't do human trafficking, because some people ask for job sponsorship, but they don't know that they are being trafficked. We don't actually do pay after service. Don't even ask us for that, because we'll not respond to you. And this is not an illegal immigration pathway. We are doing things that are genuine. Can I apply as we are 45 or for 56 old? Yes, age is not a barrier. It is a major factor, but it's not a barrier if you actually have the right eligibility criteria and required documentation. Is this for me and my family? Yes, for those that pay within the 3 days, instead of paying an additional for your family. You can actually do it if you are single, or if you're a single parent, if you're a couple, if you're a family with kids, you can, even though you have 7 kids, no issues. How long does it take? It can actually take 5 to 6 months. On an average, if you are fast with it, you don't delay your payments and everything goes on smooth. It can take less than that, it can take more than that. Now, can I recommend someone? Yes, you can recommend, and even through our clarity calls that we have talked about earlier, you can recommend. I even get some, you understand, referral bonuses based on your recommendation. Can I apply without my degree? Yes, when your partner has a degree. You understand? Because that's what exactly my common law partner did. She didn't have, but I had, and we use that as a leverage. Is my 4.5 in IELTS listening okay? Yes, with the right approach, information and network, it may not be okay if you are the only one. It may not be okay if you don't know how to go about it. Is this real or scam? Sisters and brothers, judge that for yourself and take your time to do research. Know about us. If I'm lying, you will know. You understand? If I'm a fraudster, you will know. There's no need to actually talk too much on that. Now, you can actually exactly again pay 2.35 within a 3 month period, or 3.5 within a 2 month period. The next step for you is either to book a clarity call with us, or to send us an email after you have made a payment. And yes, do I have a guarantee for my funds? Yes, within 6 months, if we're not able to make do with what we said, you get your 100% money back guarantee without any issues, without any stories, no questions asked. So again, the funds is 7 million naira at once, 2.35 thrice, 3.5 twice, or you can actually book a clarity call. Do you now have any questions? If you have any questions within just 3 minutes to 2 to 3 minutes, ask your questions. I will respond to it quickly. Is this 100% sure Adeolu actually has? That's a very good one. Now, we always tell people, because we're always frank with people, nothing is 100% sure in this life. You understand? It's only God that can make things 100%. And that's why we make sure that if we don't do good based on what we said, we'll give you your funds and we'll tell you bye bye. Please, apart from buying your course, please, this is not a course. I do tell people it's not a course, it's a package, it's a travel package. Please, can you hold hands by following up with your clients? Yes, for some of our clients that are even on this call too, that we always have, we follow up with our clients. Even if you book a clarity call, we follow up with you and we make sure that you get what you want if you actually pay for it. Now, how about certificates in HR? Yes, it's a very good one. HR is a good one if you know how to go about it. With 1 year experience, no problem with your 1 year experience. If, for instance, you have how to go about it, you have someone that could actually, you understand, stand in for you as a common law partner, or again, you are qualified for some certain other skills. Now, how much does it take to pay and migrate after meeting this criteria? As I've showed you, that is the cost, the 7 million naira, and you get it done for you. Okay, do you give out your contact? We don't give our contact details because WhatsApp has showed us Pepe. So they have banned our 2 numbers because we have had massive amounts of people that have reached out to us. Hundreds of people have reached out. So I don't think it is a good one, but you can book our clarity call, and through that you can get our WhatsApp number for those who are willing. Okay, I love your presentation. Thank you, Muhammad. Really appreciate. So I would like to discuss with you privately. Book a clarity call, as I said, aos.name.ng/5 minutes. You book how long? I've said that I will not answer questions I've actually answered before. You understand? Just go through the webinar and you'd get that responded. Do you necessarily have to get a court marriage? No, I didn't get a court marriage certificate for my own common law partner. Two of us came without being married legally, and you can go about that through the common law partnership. We'll talk about that as well if you actually sign up with us. What do you mean by packaging? Does it mean after payment you will send some lectures in my pocket? I don't do lecture. I'm telling you this thing. Now, this is not a course. Do you understand? You understand? It's not a course. It's a travel package that gets to do everything for you. I'm not going to respond to questions I've answered before. You understand? Go through the webinar and you get your responses. How much does it involve? I can't answer that. Please, next question. Um, is it only Canada visa process? Yes, for now it is only Canada we are doing. What else? What else? Who are asking other questions? Can you attach two different people together? Yes, if you know how to go about it. That's what we did. If you know how to do it, if you're wise about it, you get the right networks. And many people have actually attached two people together and they have gotten banned from Canada. But if you know how to go about it, again, you can do it. Now, what else? Which other question do you have? Okay, in 30 seconds, I'm going to round off. And for those that actually ended this webinar with us, we have a benefit for you. Instead of the 7 million, not per person, I've said it's either single family or Kenyan, but if you pay within now and the month, and instead of 7.5, and I didn't mention this in the presentation, but you pay 4.5 M. I didn't mention this, I didn't even write this, but I just said this verbally. Within the next 3 days, or within the month end, in the year end rather, you will pay 4.5 if you actually pay. Do you understand? If you are really serious about it. Do you help with PMP applications? Yes, for those with yes. So if your common law partner as well, okay, uses veil. Now that's a very good question. If you use veil, if you are a Muslim sister, Muslim brother, my common law partner is a Muslim sister. She came here, she has never been gotten, she hasn't been harassed before in her life in this Canada. So in fact, they appreciate her because we have Muslim communities over here. The mosque we go to is a Muslim community, a very good set of people. They are Ahlus Sunnah. If you're Ahlus Sunnah, yes, they are very good people, and you can come with veil, no issues. You can come with a Muslim brother. My common law partner did it. She came with a Muslim brother, which I am. So if you know how to go about it, you do it, and you get it done for you. So with that, we thank everyone for coming and actually attending. Thank you very much for attending. If you have any questions, drop it on the comment section. Later on, we'll reply to it, and we hope you do have a lovely day ahead. I think there are no more questions, so we can call it a day. Thank you. Reach out to us either by booking a 5 minute clarity call or by making payment and sending us emails on our email address. Thank you very much and do have a lovely day ahead. Bye for now, everyone.